Originally known as Vinh Phuc Mechanical Factory, the company became Vinh Yen Shoes JC in 2005. It has grown from a small business into a notable footwear exporter, serving markets like the US, China, and the EU. With nearly 4,000 employees, it's recognized for stable operations and reliable product quality. In this part of the video, we'll be doing a due diligence on Vinh Yen Shoes, taking a closer look at how the company really operates behind the scenes. Let's talk about the bigger picture first: commercial due diligence. Since 2020, Vietnam has become the second largest shoe exporter in the world, shipping over 1.5 billion pairs of shoes every year to more than 150 countries. Most of those go to the US, the EU, and China. And Vinh Yen Shoes contributes with about 2 million pairs shipped each year. In 2024, they made around $20 million. Not huge, but solid for a mid-sized OEM. Looking ahead, the industry's changing. There's more demand for green production, digital systems, and supply chain shifts into Vietnam, but also rising costs, stronger competition, and pressure to upgrade. As an OEM, Vinh Yen doesn't set prices, clients do, so they have to control costs to stay profitable. They mostly serve international sports brands, but 70% of revenue comes from just 3 clients, meaning one loss could cause serious damage. Loyalty is fragile, and without a CRM system, the risk of losing clients is high. Their business is all in-house, contract-based, with no retail sales. It's pure B2B. About SWOT analysis. Its strengths are stable capacity, global clients. Weaknesses are no brand, no digital systems. In addition, big demand shift from China to Vietnam is its opportunities. Lastly, its threats are customer loss and stricter global standards. So what should they do? They should promote themselves better, keep clients closer, and invest in management systems before risks become reality. Next, let's look at how things run inside through operational due diligence. Their SOP outlines the whole process from buying materials to shipping finished shoes. It's clear and logical, but it mostly describes tasks without helping managers make decisions. There are no KPIs, no backup plans, and no clear error handling steps. Just reject or redo. That's inefficient and doesn't support continuous improvement. The factory setup is decent. Cutting, sewing, and assembly machines are mostly automated, helping maintain quality. Machines are checked daily, but without a digital monitoring system, it's hard to predict problems. The work environment is okay, but not ideal during hot seasons. PPE is available but not always used, especially in high-risk areas. The supply chain is diverse, which is a plus. But 98% of materials are imported, making them vulnerable to delays, price changes, and logistics issues. Right now, there's no real strategy to deal with those risks. As for internal policies, they exist, like safety rules and quality procedures, but they're not enforced well. There's no regular audit, no tracking system, and most defect logs are still done manually. That makes these policies more symbolic than useful. About KPI performance, they have nearly 3,700 workers, but most are low-skilled. The defect rate is around 5%, mainly from glue and stitching. No ERP means no real-time data. Internal communication exists, but its effectiveness isn't tracked. To improve, they should automate key steps, set KPIs for each process, invest in ERP, train staff regularly, monitor supplier risk, and actually enforce their internal policies. These basic upgrades could go a long way in making operations smoother and more resilient. Now let's take a quick look at legal due diligence. Vinh Yen Shoes hasn't faced any major lawsuits like some bigger players, but they're still exposed to risks, especially in labor like strikes or overtime violations, and in IP like counterfeiting. One thing to watch out for: many of their contracts are set to expire around the end of 2025. That means 10 to 20% of their revenue could be at risk if renewals don't go smoothly. Also, 80 to 90% of future revenue comes from deals signed over a year ago. So it's time for a full review of those contracts. To stay ahead, they should build a contract dashboard that tracks when agreements are expiring and sends renewal reminders automatically. At the same time, regular legal health checks, things like labor disputes and IP issues, should be tracked every quarter. And most importantly, these risks should be tied to KPIs and included in management reports, so legal issues don't stay hidden. They're seen, measured, and acted on. To understand how healthy a company really is, we have to look beyond operations and dig into the numbers. This is financial due diligence. In 2024, the company showed strong performance as a contract manufacturer in the footwear industry. It recorded nearly $19.8 million in revenue, with $4.9 million in gross profit. That's a 24.7% gross margin, reflecting solid cost control and smart pricing. Operating profit (EBIT) stood at $2.24 million or 11.3% margin. A healthy figure, though SG&A expenses remain high, at over 13% of revenue. At the bottom line, net profit came in at $1.47 million, or 7.4% of revenue. Not outstanding, but solid and consistent for the industry. Even more telling, EBITDA was $3.47 million or 17.5% of revenue, highlighting strong cash generation even after accounting for depreciation. And with $2.5 million in positive operating cash flow, this isn't just profit on paper, it's real liquidity. The balance sheet paints a stable picture: 57% equity, a 0.9 debt-to-equity ratio, and over $8 million in fixed assets. This is the evidence of strategic reinvestment in modernizing production lines. But it's not without risk. Working capital efficiency is a concern. High inventory and receivables tie up over a third of total assets. That puts pressure on liquidity if cash cycles aren't managed carefully. And while profits are strong, reliance on long-term debt is rising. Combined with elevated SG&A expenses, there's a clear need to tighten internal controls and streamline overhead. In summary, this is a company that's profitable, cash positive, and financially stable. And it is valued at approximately $22.6 million. But to stay that way, it must focus on working capital, cost efficiency, and long-term resilience. Behind every number is a story of people, process, and potential. This is where the data ends, and your decision begins. Thanks for your watching.